What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Commercial Kitchen Chronicles. This one's pretty cool. This one was recorded live at RLS during the grand opening ceremony, and it features none other than Mr. HVAC Tactical Ben Poole, MC.HVAC Mike Cameron, and Curtis File from RLS. We just talk about all kinds of stuff, and it's Curtis's and Mike's first podcast, and we have some fun. So check it out. Let us know what you guys think. See you guys later. All right, who wants to do the introduction? You want to do it?
Do we even need one?
Like, hey,
Have you ever seen an introduction on the Joe Rogan show?
No, I'm not Joe Rogan, though, but if I was, I wouldn't be here.
I'm just saying, you
They
take
got
tips you learn from the best.
That's true.
They've got the names that pop up on the bottom, though, so you know.
Well, we can do that.
Well,
Oh yeah,
Come on,
Jaden's
man.
going to learn how to do that.
edit.
This one.
Jaden's going to learn how to do it with
You can
Jaden.
keep that, I guess. It's unopened.
So,
Yep. So my name's Curtis File.
Curtis File.
I'm with Rapid Locking
with
Systems.
Rapid Locking Systems.
I'm the Midwest Regional Sales Manager. So I cover Illinois, Indiana, currently covering Michigan and Ohio, help out in Kentucky, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa.
So you're a sales rep.
I'm a sales rep.
But you come from the field.
I do.
Instant respect.
Yes.
yeah, I didn't know that about him. I didn't know he did,
Just mini splits on the side for a while.
That's more than I've done. I don't do
Learned mini splits and just did them on the side for a while. I haven't done one in quite a while though.
Side like cash jobs?
Yeah,
Oh, so you're just a mini split guy?
family and friends.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, your respect level just came
Wow.
Come on now.
Wow, rough
If you can install a mini split, I feel like I don't know if I could run plenum and all that. But
I don't know, Mr. Cool. You can buy that off Amazon. You can freaking
Yeah, good luck with that.
Pioneer. Isn't Pioneer another brand off Amazon?
Yeah, but they don't have the. That's what.
Recharge line set.
They're not recharge line sets. No, you have to pull a vacuum. That's what I actually have in my office because they were dirt cheap, and I was like, I'm just gonna put some in there. And
I will
see.
tell you, I've installed about 4 or 5. I've installed about 7 of those Pioneers because the homeowner bought them and wanted me to install them for
Oh,
him.
grief.
Dude, I tell you, I'm kind of impressed with them.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they have the push to connect?
No.
They're all made in the same factory.
They are.
Yeah, that's what I have in my office because I wanted to have something in the summer, and I could get like a 2-head system, like 24,000 BTU or whatever. And I was like, I'll throw them in there, dude. And it keeps it cool. And this winter, it got down below 0, and that's before I had the spray foam. And it heat, but dude, that thing was going in defrost nonstop.
Oh,
it was
no.
hating life when it got real cold. But it did heat. It did keep up. So I'll give it that. But no, it doesn't have the push connect once you gotta cut them. And that's the one I caught all the flack on because I bent the tube trying to bend to 90. I kinked it, and then I ordered some RLS fittings and RLS 90 to finish the job. And it came in and it didn't package it. Just put it in a plastic bag and it beat it all up.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, I made a video like griping about it.
You only ordered one?
Come on, Mike. Come on. I'm not a professional. I mean, I'm a kitchen guy that does this too.
We may not pick him up on the mic if he's not going to speak up.
Yeah,
Oh,
you got to speak up.
I'll move in.
So it came in beat up, and I was like, man, I reached out to Paul, and I was like, Paul, dude. He's like, man, soft. Just jam it on there. If it goes, it's gonna seal. He's like, it'll bend back, and I bent it back a little bit, and I just put the fitting in there,
Yeah.
pressurized it, it held. I
I've-
soaped it. And,
I've seen plenty of technicians that have done that. And yeah, as long as you can get that conical, that flare back at least decently straight, to where it's not, if you insert that fitting, it's not going to nick that,
and that's all it was.
And
It
you
just kind of flattened that edge a little bit in the
Yeah.
package because it was just in a plastic bag in a box and just bounced around shipping. I mean,
I've seen the pipes actually spin inside
really
the RLS.
Yeah,
thing,
I've
and
seen-
I'm like, is that supposed to do that?
Lewis, isn't it like HVAC 560?
Straight up, dude.
Yeah.
It still holds. I don't understand it, but it's sketchy.
I just had one, like, I don't know, a month ago. My flaring block would not grab this pipe. I was like 3/4 pipe. So I was like, something's going on here. Never had an issue with it grabbing the pipe or not. And the supplier gave me the line set for like half price. They're just trying to get rid of this line set. It's like their last one. So I go get a caliper and check it versus another line set. And it was just out enough. Like that it's out of tolerance for even
Yeah.
rapid lock fitting. So
I've seen them spin. It's usually on the smaller sizes, but I have seen them, to where, especially like when we were at AHR and we did the RLS, some of those,
The T's.
yeah, some of the T's and then some of the, even the 90s. I mean, you'd be able to kind of spin it and it would spin in there a little bit.
Yeah, Lewis has a video he sent us in a little group chat, and it was like, man, he's like, they said it's cool, and everyone was like, send it, dude, send it. And
Yeah.
it it took it, man.
Well, isn't it?
Before we go too far, we got Mike Cameron in the house. We didn't give him an introduction.
Yeah, Mr. Quiet over here.
Mr. Quiet.
I don't do intros.
Well, you at least gotta tell everybody who you are, who you work for, where you're from. You can at least.
Yeah, I'm Mike Cameron from Vancouver, BC. I work for Reactive Plumbing and Heating. We just do our thing. I don't know.
Canadian guys are taking over this year, man. The tactical awards, everything. Those Canadian guys.
Yeah, we might have to just like make a Canadian award show so that they can just bow out.
So they can, they can stay up there.
States,
They can come to ours and support us Americans, and we'll go to Canada and support you guys. We're not eligible for yours. You're not eligible for ours.
That works.
I would
Just like CPMX, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't a bunch of Americans going up there and winning, was it?
It's a friendly competition, though. It's like when we play in hockey.
Oh, yeah. It's all fun. Man.
Well, I will say that I was on the winning team for the RLS in Toronto, so there was that.
I was surprised you guys won, actually.
Why?
I don't know.
That's
you were on the winning team in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
And then you were on the winning team in Atlanta.
No. Mike Flynn won twice, remember?
Oh,
he won
that's
both
right.
days.
That was the first one Ben lost, wasn't it?
This is the first RLS competition I've been in.
No, not you. Thompson.
Oh, Ben Thompson. Yeah, he was pretty upset that he lost.
Yeah, I think it was the first one.
So
he was in that.
I don't know if you saw the video to this. They may not have posted it, but we were maybe 3/4 of the way through the press, right? And we're putting the final connections on. We're holding things up. Flynn's going through, just crimping down. And Jessica walks up and she has a microphone, or Jaden, one of the two. And I was like, "Hey, can I see that mic real quick?" And they're like, "Yeah." Not even thinking, they just handed it to me, right? And I was like, "Yeah, I just want to take a moment and just thank everybody in advance for the win." Dude,
graciously,
Ben and Tyler, they look over at us. It was so funny. Everybody in the crowd started laughing. Somebody was recording that. We got to get that.
Man, I was so nervous doing it in Chicago. It's like, I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't like to lose.
It's a good sized crowd.
Yeah, it is. It brings the crowd. Those competitions always do pretty good.
Yeah.
When I did it in Atlanta, I was trying to be all perfect, like taking my time reaming and deburring. I look over and there's Jeff, Jaden. He's just flip it over and go. I'm like, why am I trying to do this proper? These guys are just barely. I don't even think it touched blowing and going. I don't even think it went through the tool, man. I think he just went through the motion, one time.
And then, unfortunately, one of the teams. It was on the second day in Chicago. One of the teams accidentally acted like it was pro press.
Yeah,
pressed a solid 30% of them, 40% of them over the O-ring before they got.
Well, and that was also when they had a tool that you can only press so many cycles a minute and it shut off.
Yeah,
because the tool died. They switched over to the other tool, and they can only let you press so many times. They have to
That's not a clocky, right? That's
a rigid.
That was a rigid 241.
I will say, if you want a fast tool, it's not the rigid tool. Rigid's a great tool, but it's not faster than the clocky tool.
No, the clocky you can just go, and that's not what you want to do. But that's just the competition we were in.
Yeah, as far as competition goes, like when we were in Toronto, they were talking. Gary was talking about having me on his team, and I said, if there's more than one brand of tool there, make sure you get the RLS tool. And he's like, why? I said, because it's faster than the freaking
tool. That's what a couple guys messaged me on Instagram too. Yeah, before the contest, but we all had the same tools in Chicago.
Yeah, they came prepared last year. They realized what happened the first year because they used some of the demo tools that was out on display. So they're doing demos. People come to the booth and stuff, and batteries dead. No one charged it, and they got 4 or 5 presses in, and all of a sudden it's dead. Then they grabbed the rigid, then they grabbed the rigid tool. It's and it just quit working because it has a timeout thing, and just unfortunately,
is it Clouk or Clouky?
It's pronounced Clocka.
Clocka?
It's pronounced Clocka.
Clocka?
Yeah. German pronunciation of it is Clocka.
I will say, pressing and that, however many presses it was, 6 minutes straight of running that machine, my arms were dead.
Oh yeah.
Just the vibration continuously. It was I was shaking when we finished.
Do you remember how many presses it was?
It was a bunch this year in Chicago. It was a lot more than Atlanta. Atlanta was pretty fast, but she went all
6 minutes straight pressing. It's
yeah, you guys went all out this year in Chicago for the amount of fittings.
Yeah.
Well, it said press gang, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why
it was RLS first year. So
it was RLS in Toronto, so that went pretty fast.
Yeah.
They learned a lesson with the press game,
right?
Yeah, we might want to switch that up next year.
Pressing.
Spell Clokey or Clocka.
Yeah,
Maybe we should do HI Tactical logos.
there you go.
It'll take a while.
All the little A's and the
Spell
C's.
Navac?
E's.
Oh,
Yeah.
Navac. No, you can't do that.
I don't think they'd go for that.
I wonder about speed though. I've never tested the Clocka up against the Milwaukee, up against the M12. I wonder which one would be quicker. And again, this is fractions of a second per press, but I guess I haven't done that. Just that Clocka 19, the smaller, the compact one, that is a quick.
Oh, that's the one I have, dude. And yeah,
It's quicker than the Milwaukee, for
Yeah.
sure, because I use the M12
Well, the Milwaukee and the Ridge are the same tool, aren't they?
basically. But
I'm not sure.
the M12 one you can run continuous. It's just a little bit slower cycle, I think.
Yeah, the M12 will run. So on that Clocka, you can take your finger off of the trigger, and it's going to stop. The Milwaukee M12, once that throw once it gets to the jaw, it's a continuous run.
yeah. So you can just let go, let it go,
Yes.
and then
Which is nice.
that always freaked me out. Like watching plumber videos,
Yes.
and they just like started, they let go of it, it's just hanging there pressing. I'm like, whoa.
Something goes wrong, and nope. gotta
You're not
cycle
stopping
through
it anyway.
Yeah.
That's what's just going.
So, Mike, what are you working on in Canada that's different than what we would be working on down here in the States?
A lot of gas absorption heat pumps right now.
Gas absorption heat pumps.
They're pretty neat.
Never touched them.
I know.
What is a gas absorption heat pump? If you don't mind me asking, because I have no idea.
There's 3 different brands we're using right now. The Anesi ones, Rober, and Yanmar. The Yanmar ones are the only ones that are 410A, and they do heating and cooling, which is pretty sweet. But the other ones are ammonia, so that's been interesting. As long as you're,
I thought ammonia was being phased out.
honestly, it's one of the best gases though.
Huh.
Just a little more. You got to be a little safer.
Yeah, I think that safety aspect thing scares a lot of people. I mean, it's no different than the A2Ls. We were freaking out about it.
Yeah.
I mean, people forget about everything when really, if you follow proper protocols, procedures, none of it's anything to worry about. Just be careful. I mean,
That's the thing I'm worried about. The amount of people that aren't actually ticketed refrig guys working on, HVAC equipment up north is pretty wild. So when the A2Ls drop, we'll see what happens. Somebody's going to get hurt.
I think the biggest thing that you guys have to worry about is getting the new equipment, all of your vacuum pumps, your recovery machines, your hoses, your gauges. Those all have to be A12 compliant, which most of them, I think it has to be spark resistant, zero spark.
Yeah,
right?
a lot of the DC driven
like
vacuum pumps
VOP stuff.
they're kind of already set up that way because they're DC driven, right? No sparks when they fire up. But
Yeah.
I don't understand the hose game. Like, what's the difference between an A2L hose versus a non A2L hose?
I don't know either. And I think there's a lot of the reason why these companies are, started going to the DC driven stuff in the last few years anyway, so they knew this was coming.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get ahead of it. And I think that is. But the hose, I don't have.
Well, DC driven, I mean, they've been for the last probably at least 10, 15 years. Everything's been going DC driven stuff, right? Like wash machines, dishwashers. I mean, anything with refrigerators, anything with an electric motor is going DC driven. It's more efficient, more control.
Easier startup on.
Easier
Yeah.
startup, big time.
Yeah.
And all the field piece stuff is like their rack pumps and stuff.
Yeah,
The Navac one's A2L too, right?
Mics are going to pick that up.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, sorry.
I'm bad about it at home. I'll be playing with my
Yeah,
hand.
the G5 Twin has been A12 compatible for years.
Appion really kind of changed the game when they came out with that vacuum pump for sure. But Field Piece has done a great job coming out and innovating, and Navac obviously. A lot of people don't know this, and I may not even supposed to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Navac has been making pumps for most manufacturers of pumps for years and years.
They make vacuum pumps for like food processing stuff. They make a lot of pumps that I didn't even know existed.
Navac, and not so much Navac like the name, but the mother company to Navac. They're a big player in the pump game around the world.
Yeah.
So
I've been following a lot of that stuff on LinkedIn. I actually won a big giant 12 CFM like industrial grade vacuum pump.
That's
I
awesome.
won it, and I was like, the guy said to me, he's like, "You use that yet?" I was like, dude, I can't use this on a reach-in
It's
cooler.
a
I'll get
showpiece.
I'll get ran out of the restaurant. I was like, I get a big walk-in job. I'm gonna use it and I'll make some contests, but I can't bring in. It's got a cart and a little handle, and like I'm like I can't bring this into a restaurant, dude.
Yeah.
But they've been putting out a lot of their stuff, and he shares a lot of their stuff. I was like, man, they're in all kinds of stuff. It's just like you said, their parent company's a pump company at heart, and they realize that that's going to come over.
Yeah, a lot of people who, again, we talked about on another podcast, right, is the ignorance of people, right? And it's, again, not saying that to be disrespectful or negative. It's just that when you walk into a conversation uneducated about what you're about to talk about, you're ignorant to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people will say, oh, well, NAVAC hasn't been around long enough to be tested, or, that stuff is junk. It's like, dude, the pump that you currently have that doesn't say NAVAC on it was probably made by NAVAC. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of like, again, you're just ignorant to the fact that you're just uneducated in this space, And a lot of people, if you're uneducated, stop and just listen, and you might learn something new instead of just trying to run your mouth all the time.
It's like the press game. Or was it you saying somebody tried to pull a fitting apart after it was pressed?
Active shooter situation.
Yeah.
Balloons
popping all over. Yeah.
Someone's to pick up all the confetti in those balloons, though.
So going back to NAVAC, and then, I will tell that story. But when I first started there, I was living in a different home than I am now, but I wanted to do a pull vacuum on my air conditioner. And it's a 5-ton. It was a 4-unit or
forehead,
4-zone house, good sized house, but anyway, 5-ton, and they were like, "Oh, use that 2-ton battery operated vacuum pump." I'm like, "Okay, there's no way, or 2 CFM.
Yeah.
There's no way this is gonna pull that." I did the True Blue hoses, like those 3/4. Those hoses are awesome. No manifolds, no nothing. I pulled it down, and I'm not even joking. I pulled a 5-ton system down to probably 200 microns in about 15 minutes with a 2 CFM battery operated pump.
It's not the pump; it's the hose.
Yes,
it's
the
hose.
hoses
pulling the course.
It's amazing.
Don't do the Schraders. Don't pull it through manifolds. Just straight. Yeah. And
the True Blue hoses were great hoses when they came out. The downside to True Blue hoses is that they're so stiff.
Oh yeah.
And you have to set them in the sun to heat them up, right? In order to make them really pliable.
Yeah.
NAVAC has recently came out with their 3/4 inch big black hoses.
I think it's flex. Wasn't around like a 2 liter or something.
Game changer.
I'm like,
nice.
Game changer.
I told Brad, I was like, I want one of those. He's like, I take Venmo, bud. I was like,
sounds like Brad.
That Milwaukee vac pump actually has that manifold mode. There's a button on the side of the pump, so you can choose if you're pulling it through your manifold or through, with cores out.
Yeah.
It changes the way the pump runs.
How so?
I don't know. Haven't looked into it, but there's a button.
Sounds like a marketing gimmick.
Yeah. I want to do some research. Let's get one.
Call somebody. Get Milwaukee in the Rolodex. Call them right now.
Milwaukee has no idea who I am. I will say,
if they want to send me one, I'll definitely try.
I will say, Milwaukee sold me years ago. I used to have DeWalt, and I bought a pack of batteries. And it was when they were having those 5-amp hour batteries. They were making them. Something was wrong with the manufacturer. They were breaking. And I tried warranty, and they told me I dropped it. I lost my mind, and I went on some big rant on Twitter and tagged Milwaukee saying I was going to go buy these tools. And they responded hey, we want to help you out. I was like, they asked for my address.
Oh, wow.
I thought they were going to send me a gift card or something. They sent me an M18 Fuel 1/2-inch hammer drill, 1/4-inch impact, batteries, everything. This big giant box showed up. She called me one day and she's like, "There's this big giant box from Milwaukee." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And that was nobody. I was like, I had 10 followers on Twitter and just happened to catch the right person the right day. And that sold me on Milwaukee, but I love their tools.
Nice.
Yeah, that ain't happening anymore.
No. That was just dumb luck one day. Someone felt sorry for me, I think.
Those days are gone, dude.
But no, I'd like to test one of those vacuum pumps in that manifold mode to see.
Dude, I've tried hard to get Milwaukee to play in my game, and they don't seem to be interested. Yeah, they're like, we don't pay to play, essentially.
I emailed our regional, and I was like, I do a bunch of shows, and I'm in front of a bunch of contractors all the time doing sales. I would love to push Milwaukee, and Rigid and Klocka. But, if you had an M12, he goes, we can get you one a little bit over cost. And I was like, okay, thank you. Still $1,400. I'm like, okay, that wasn't really what I was going for, but
then you got the goat Paul who just sends you.
Yeah.
I will say I had a good little chat with DeWalt in Toronto, And
DeWalt's doing some
they're
good
interested
things.
in the award show. So
That's
Nice.
cool.
That's cool.
I mean, I'm not knocking DeWalt. It's just the battery broke, and they said I dropped it, and I just lost my mind. It's like I did not drop it.
So here's
I'll admit my.
So you guys probably heard of my chiropractor since I've done podcasts, and he's been in the magazine several times. He's actually in the new magazine that's coming out too. But he is a DeWalt freaking diehard DeWalt guy, right? But he's also a woodworker.
Yeah.
And so what I have found is that people who are typically carpenters are typically DeWalt guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Or Makita. A lot of Makita.
Well, if you look at the different trades, they all flock to different brands, right? Like the typical homeowner is typically like a Ryobi, right?
Yeah.
And they got the Ryobi leaf blower and the weed eater and the battery mower,
It's
right? They got
the same battery for the drill. They can mow the yard with.
they're Ryobi'd out,
Yeah.
right? And then you got like electricians are typically rocking Makitas, or some of them are rocking the Milwaukee stuff, but it's like you really see Milwaukee's really heavy in HVAC, right?
Yep.
And then so every trade kind of has their go-to brand. It's just interesting to see how people flock to that.
I've been watching a lot of like Terrence, his videos on that tubing cutter DeWalt has. I think just
that's so dumb.
it looks dumb, but it does a pretty good job.
it's
fast.
It's quick.
The one that goes in
Looks
the impact.
Oh, with the PVC cutter?
Well, they got the tubing cutter for the copper. It's fast. It like eats up the Milwaukee.
Yeah, they did
The
have
thing
that.
I don't like though, you have to change
looks
the
weird.
head
for different
for
size
different
pipe.
size pipe. So if you're using
I will tell you,
multiple
it's
sizes, you got
fast.
to interchange. So
I
you're
seen the
losing
videos.
time.
Okay.
It's fast.
Yeah. So if you're doing, 3/8 and 3/4 or 3/8 and set, whatever, yeah, you got to keep switching.
Talking
Did you
refrigeration
guys
pipes.
did you guys watch the video that Mike did in Toronto when the Bridget guy they were cutting the cast piece of steel or whatever it was, and it shot off and hit the dude in the hand? Did you see that?
Oh no! You got to be careful with that.
seen
When
it.
you're cutting shorts though.
Go back to Mike Flynn's post from like a month ago.
Oh,
Oh, dude,
wow.
it was funny. He was like, hey, dude, you may want to move your knee, and he like didn't move, and it popped off and hit him right in the hand.
oh,
And dude, he shook it off like it was nice. Like, it's like, dude, he kept going, he kept rubbing his.
oh, the chain brake is the chain brake one. Yeah, that stuff gets gnarly when that stuff
Yeah.
breaks.
Oh, yeah.
You got to stick it if you stick a hammer in the end or something that'll absorb it so it doesn't go flying. When I was like in my first couple of years in the trades, I did more of a mix, like more plumbing service and stuff too.
Mhm.
I was with a journeyman one day. We were cutting cast on the street. Flying, breaks this guy's headlight. He was just cutting a little piece off on the back of the van and just fucking launched. Smashed buddy's
Crazy,
headlight. It's
man.
brutal.
I actually have some cast pipe underneath my house that I'm like, dude, I'm not looking forward to getting this out of here. Like, this is heavy,
Yeah.
dude. So
Leave it.
just abandon it.
Yeah.
Curtis was talking about, we're at RLS. We've been doing some press stuff, checking out the new truck, the new showroom, and everything. And he said someone was trying to pull a fitting apart one day.
Yeah. So I was at a union training, and he was a weightlifter, and you could tell, and I was just kind of going over some of the specifications of, the pull testing rating. It's rated for 2100 PSI, rated for 700 PSI, tested at 2100 PSI. And then I went into the pull testing, and this guy sat there and he's, all right, yeah, let's press this. And we pressed a couple of 3/8 fittings, and he goes, I know I can pull it apart. And so he's literally gripping this thing with all of his might, trying to pull it apart. And I'm like, what do you bench press? Even if you bench press 350, you got to more than double that to pull that thing apart.
That's
But he
funny.
thought he could.
You set up a camera when people start doing stuff
Oh,
like this.
I mean, his face was red. Oh yeah.
Like we
And
just saw how strong the joint was with the burst.
Oh, yeah,
The
I
actual
mean-
joint didn't move.
yeah.
It blows
no,
my mind that it stays the exact same size.
that was what 4,000, 4,100 or something.
44 something.
It's funny to watch the
44,
comment
just over
section when they
44.
go, these products haven't even been out long enough to be tested. Like, they'll never last. It's funny, this one guy, I remember this company, he goes, it'll never last at 450 PSI in the middle of summer when the heat shows up. And I'm just like, it's like, if there's a moment where you just want to like reach through the
Yes.
comment section and be like,
Slap the guy.
yes.
Yeah, I had a guy on LinkedIn the same way, and I was showing stuff off, and he'd be like, "Oh, Hulk smash tool or whatever, Hulk
Yeah.
pipe smasher tool." So, and he's like, "Oh, the whole zoo, the St. Louis Zoo had that, had to have it all cut out." And I'm like, where's the proof? Where's the video? I want to see it cut out. It's like, did they send them back to the manufacturer? You know, I'm asking those questions. Like,
Yep.
if they have these fittings fail, the manufacturer wants them back, whether it's, you know, RLS or anyone else. They want that fitting back because they want to know why it failed. But he had no proof or no, oh, I don't know. You know, so you sort of ask questions back, I don't know.
Just talking out his ass.
Yeah, for sure.
So anytime you'll see me when I make an RLS post on LinkedIn, I always put like hashtag Hulk Pipe Smasher. And I told Paul about it.
That's funny.
It's usually somebody that has 3 posts and 25 followers.
Well, there's 99% of the time if a fitting fails, it's operator error, right?
Yeah.
And they call that PEBCAC. It's problem exists between chair and keyboard, right?
Yeah.
Nice. That's funny. Yeah, I've had pretty good luck with it, man. It's a great product. Like I said, I've had one fail, and it was all my fault. I take complete ownership of it. Jessica doesn't like me talking about it, but it was on me. I mean, I can't blame anybody else.
I've fully pressed some sketchy shit with RLS, and it hasn't leaked.
Yeah, I've seen
surprised
some
myself.
I've seen some where I'm like, I recommend to cut that out.
Dude,
That's all I'm gonna say. I recommend to cut that out and redo it. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna let it fly. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I've seen someone press one wrong and then go back and press it the right way, and it held.
Yeah,
it held like 500 psi. It held a vacuum. I'm like,
we've seen it. Yep.
I'm like, I'm gonna keep a mental note in my mind where that's at, because when that fails,
Well,
you're
I've
not blaming RLS.
I've had a 7/8 coming out of a chase in the ground,
Mhm.
and then we put a 90 on it, right?
Yeah.
And then it turns and comes up. Well, that pipe was standing like this, and somehow the pipe like leaned over, right? And it rotated on the fitting, just rotated on the pipe like that. I kind of looked at that and I stood that thing back up, reached back down, I re-pinched it again, right? And then we braced it up from there. But yeah, it held.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was curious about that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Mega Press does that.
Yes.
I mean, that's one of their
Approved swing joints.
Yeah.
That's
but
the
no,
best feature.
Yeah, the first time I saw that, it was up in Michigan, and it was myself and the rep from Viga doing a counter day, and he's got the pipe on the chain and everything, and he just goes and he pulls it down. And I was like, why did you ruin that fitting? Like it was like a 2.5 inch. I was like, why you just ruined that fitting? And he goes, no, watch this, and he's showing me, and he's like, this can rotate 90 degrees. I was like, wow, that's actually a pretty cool feature.
That's the best part, because you don't even have to level it up when you're installing it right away. You can just press it and then spin it up to exactly where you want it.
Yeah.
Get your hangers and stuff in, and then go from there.
Wicked.
Makes it way faster.
See, anybody can be a pipe fitter.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No one gets paid for that one. I gotta have some fun. No, I love pipe fitters, man. I all trades are cool. I love watching people perform what they do. You know, it's an art. Whether people, you know, the guys take pride in their work, it's an art. No matter if it's running refrigeration lines, running gas lines, running, you know, copper water lines, anything. It's an art, especially the guys that take pride in it and have that passion for their job. That's the kind of stuff I like to see.
well, it's an art if you have passion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Other than that, it's just a job. And if
Mhm.
it's just a job to you, then you really don't give a crap.
Mhm.
You're going to do the bare minimum. You're going to just go through the motions. So
That's one of the things with our industry. There's so much variety.
Yeah.
We're doing it, 19, almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Still haven't got bored.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And now we get to change gases again, so
Yeah.
be fun.
It's cool. My kids are just getting into it. So my 19-year-old girl never welded, never brazed a day in her life, but she's an artist. Has tattoos. She does all of her own tattoos on her body, and she can draw a painting in an hour. And you're like, how did you just freehand that?
Mhm.
You know, she just has that mind. And she was at a friend's house, and the dad was welding, and she came home and she said, I know what I want to do. I want to weld. I was like,
That's cool.
wow, what? And she just graduated welding class, number 1 in her class.
Nice.
And she just, day one, she was like, oh, I welded this bead and this bead. And I'm like, how did you do that day one? There's no way. She just has that to where she's that artist came out. And now my son, who just turned 16, Dad, I want to go into welding. I absolutely want to go into welding. So I bought him a flux, just a little 115 flux welder. And so now he's welding.
She giving him lessons?
Yep, absolutely.
That's awesome.
So she's going to go into 597, which is the pipe fitters union up in Chicago.
Nice.
He wants to go into 597, and I'm sitting back like, that's 2 college tuitions I don't have to pay for. Yes, please.
Yeah. My kids, none of them went to college. Actually, I can't say that. My daughter she's gone to college, but she's going to be a massage therapist. So she waited a couple of years. She decided to do that. My oldest son works with me. He does what I do. He reps RLS. I've sent him in some small holes I can't get my big butt in. And he goes in there and does it, and it works great. And my youngest, he's going to graduate high school, and it's either he wants to work with me and my other son, or he wants to be a plumber. He's still trying to decide, so he's got a couple months, and then he's going to make a decision when summer hits.
Nice.
It's provided a great living for my family. I never thought I'd be where I'm at now. When I went to high school, the trades were kind of just like, you don't want to do that. You want to go to college. And I couldn't do college. Luckily, I didn't go spending money and waste money because I couldn't have done it. And I came out as an electrician and eventually worked my way into this. And it's been a lifesaver, man.
I think thinking about the trade, like thinking back to when I was just a kid in the trade, right? I never thought that the trade would take me to different states, right?
Yeah.
And out of the country, and going to these trade shows and meeting so many people and just being able to do cool stuff,
It blows my mind, all the extra stuff you guys do and doing your jobs. Like, commendable, big time. It's hard enough just doing the job.
Totally.
Let alone an award show.
You look at like Jeff and Mike, how in the world do you film all that stuff and post multiple times? How do you film it?
Yeah.
Edit it, post multiple times per day, and still get your job done when you're supposed to get it done. Like I don't understand that.
It's rough, man. And when I won the tactical award for social media content, I thank my wife, for allowing me to, we'd be watching TV, and I don't watch TV. I got my phone in my hand.
You thanked her?
Yes,
I'm gonna play that back.
Yes, I thanked her, and she knows. I sat there, and we're watching TV, and I got my phone. I'm editing a video, or I'm trying to find something to post, and you got to have a support system behind you, people that really believe in you and love you. I know Jeff and his wife, she has his back and everything, and everyone else. You got to have support staff, people that believe you and supporting you, and anything's possible.
Yeah.
It's such a pain in the ass, even doing like one reel a week.
Oh, it is. It's terrible. It's a second full-time job.
I'm like, oh man. All right.
And then I
should probably post something. It's been a bitch.
Yeah, I'm like, who's on the radar today? Oh, I got to post for Subco Trade Fox today.
And then I decided to start a podcast. And then I got to promote that and do all that. I'm like, man, I need an assistant. My wife's just waiting for the day that I make enough money I can pay her to stay home and do it all for me. So
Jessica had me start an Instagram, and I'm obviously not in the trade.
Mm-hmm.
But the sales side, it's windshield time. You're not able to sit there on your phone. I'm driving for 5 hours, and then as soon as you get to where you're going, you hurry up and go to the bathroom because you drank 4 bottles of water on the car ride, and then you're going into a meeting, and you're boom boom boom, and then you hurry up to the hotel and sleep because you got to get up early the next morning. So I started an Instagram, and it was pretty early on. Jessica goes, just start an Instagram, make up a name. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's when I came up, that's why I came up with Brother Man, because I call everybody Brother Man. And
that's where that's from.
I get a phone call.
About that.
I call everybody Brother Man. Yeah. It's from my favorite movie, The Town.
That's cool.
That's such a good movie.
Yep.
I love that movie.
Love that movie. The getaway driver, Glomes, he calls people Brother Man.
So I don't know how much longer we want to stay and do this, but I want you to talk about, what we have going on today, about, what brought everybody in today, the open house, the new trade show truck, that kind of stuff. Just You don't have to go into detail, but let's talk about the truck and what people can expect to see from it in the future.
Yeah, so we actually I don't know how long it is, but we have kind of a trade show on wheels, if you will. It's going to have a burst test machine in there, so we're going to drive that around the country. We'll probably spend. Each regional will probably have it for a month to 6 weeks. So we'll drive around our few states. Starting off, we'll do the major metropolitan areas, and we'll just go around. We'll be able to show people fittings. We'll have tools on there, so it's not us lugging everything into each different contractor. We'll basically go to a distributor and set up shop. So that will have a pressure test, so anybody that's interested can basically blow up. It's not the fitting. We always say blow up the fitting, but it never blows up the fitting. It always blows up the pipe.
Super cool.
Yeah, it's a game changer for sure. But the real reason that we're here is the grand opening of our showroom. So now we are fully, moved in. Everything's in place. We did some plant tours. We blew some copper up in our main lab. Everybody got to see, our 90,000 square foot warehouse with state-of-the-art machinery and equipment in it. Everybody got to meet all of the staff. So Really fun day. Everybody was really looking forward to this for literally probably the last year. So
Yeah, I mean, all these fittings are made right here in St. Louis, Missouri,
Yep.
United States. It's a pretty cool process. If you ever get a chance and you want to come check it out, get a hold of your regional or get a hold of Jessica or anybody at RLS. And if you're going to be in the area, they're more than happy to show you, how things go. Now,
we'd
you're
love
not going
doing
to
that.
you're not going to get pictures, you're not going to
Yeah.
get a video, but they come in, they'll show you some stuff and let you blow something up.
Yep.
It's a cool place, man. They really have their contractors back. I mean, 100%.
Yeah.
The level of inspections of the fittings blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like literally every step.
I agree.
Like the amount of fittings that are scrapped just because they're like out of spec.
Yep.
I came in here one day and they found one out of spec, and I forget his name. He was back there and he literally just started opening up boxes. He was checking every single one.
Yeah.
And like he was sitting in front of the window over here in the front of the building, and he was just like checking them. I was like, oh my god.
Yep.
That scared me. I was like, dude, there's a lot of time invested in machining.
Well, I mean, they have a
Absolutely.
bin back there. I took a picture of it, but there's a bin that has a recycle. I was allowed. I asked. Calm down.
I'm like, whoa.
Just no equipment. That's all.
Yeah, and it's a recycle bin, right?
Mhm.
The thing is just full of
Yeah.
fittings,
Yep.
right? But that just goes to show you that they're just like, hey, look, we only want to pump out great quality product.
Yeah.
And if it's not up to spec, it's getting tossed.
It's got to be perfection. Because, I say this a lot. If you do something wrong with a pro press fitting, you might ruin some carpet on that's sitting under a water heater or something like that. When you're dealing with on residential, most of it is 450 to 550 psi, but on commercial equipment, you're getting up to that 650, 700 psi. That becomes very dangerous, and it's just the nature that you guys work in. And if it's not perfect, you could run into issues, and the danger is there. So we want everything to be perfect.
That's why I like the support right away. When I found that line set that was out of spec, I asked Paul for the spec. I'm like, hey, what's the pipe tolerance? Can I press onto this? And he's like, no, it's out of spec. It's like, okay, never mind.
Yep.
Pull the new line set in. I don't know how that other one got made and ended up out of the warehouse into the field, but yeah, it wasn't 3/4 pipe.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen some weird stuff. Every once in a while, someone will show that on Instagram. Like, this doesn't make sense. And it just, sloppy in the fittings, or it doesn't press
I'm
right.
wondering if maybe it came from another country.
It
Yeah.
must have, because the only reason why I knew it was out because my flaring blocks never not grabbed a piece of pipe perfect, and when I was trying to flare it, it pulled the block off,
Oh,
and I was like, something's weird here. So it was just a little bit too small,
yep.
like
Interesting.
fractions of a friggin' whatever.
But again, when you're doing that in refrigeration, that could cause issues. So yeah, we want everything to be perfect going out our doors. That bin gets emptied a lot too, by the way. It's
a
wild.
lot of beer
It's
money.
wild how
lot
much
of beer
copper.
money.
Yeah.
This is a lot of beer money. That's funny.
I don't want to stay too much longer. They're cleaning up, and we're probably holding them up. But you guys want to tell everybody where they can find you on social media and that kind of stuff?
Yep.
Let's start with you, brother
Yeah.
man.
So I'm just Brother Man Curtis File RLS. So I just have an Instagram.
Spell file, because people are going to
yeah.
spell it F-I-L-E.
It's going to be FEIL. So I'm actually going to look it up. I'll give you the true, because there's underscores and there's this and there's that.
Well, we can post it in whatever video.
We'll post it in the link.
Yeah. So Brother Man _ RLS _ Curtis File
Nice.
___.
__.
So I am commercial _ kitchen _ chronicles. I used to be something else, and then Eric Gani guilted me into it. He's like, you can't have your podcast name that, and your name's not that. So that's what I go by on Instagram, where you can look up Commercial Kitchen Chronicles everywhere. I'm just out there.
Mine's I think there's a period in there somewhere.
MC dot.
Yeah, it's MC.HVAC. Then everybody knows you. What's yours?
Mr. Tactical.
You can call me Zaddy Tactical.
I don't recognize him because he's not in a tuxedo.
Yeah.
It's weird seeing him in a t-shirt.
That's funny.
Not all in white.
HVAC Tactical, pretty much everywhere. So
Well, I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
It's cool. The inaugural podcast session here at RLS. So
Absolutely.
I'm sure there's gonna be some more coming on and some more guests. So.
yeah, and for both of them, they've never been on podcast.
Yeah,
My first podcast.
Pop the cherry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You guys do good. We'll
Yeah.
be all right.
Very
Appreciate
nice.
you guys.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, with the veterans.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Sweet.